Economy leadership team. I see Hudson Tang here on the call, and I know that Sarah Servin, one of my former colleagues at Crossroads, is also on that team. Kristen Cooper, Jenny Freeman, for all that you do to bring this group together. And I think Masa, who's here, as well as Heather, Esther, and Lorian, for organizing this pretty incredible pre-expo opportunity for each of you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to kind of get us grounded on how we're going to spend our time together. Okay, here we go. So the purpose of today's session is to train you, the producers, tabling at the expo, on how to successfully pitch to a retail buyer. We're going to include some sell sheets, marketing, communications, and branding. But at this moment, just like I just want you to take a moment, just take a deep breath. And some of us may have some distractions going on, maybe showing up right before to the Zoom, something happened, or things that we have coming forward in our day to day. But I invite you to kind of take this moment and just be as present as possible so that you can really benefit from our time together. So let me go ahead and share with you a little bit of what our time together is going to look like today. So today we'll be learning that we each have the capacity to create what we love, and that we're either going to be designing our life by design or by default. So we want to use proven tools and practices that result in making connections, capturing the sale, and maintaining repeat business. Some of you may already have contracts with some retail buyers, and for many of you, this might be the first time that you will get to pitch your product. Either way, you will walk away today with greater clarity and confidence that you have the power within you to consciously shape each moment of each day by making a decision to create your business to align with the life that you would love to live. So during our time together today, we will explore the practices of gratitude and proud of. We're going to talk about how we're going to capture the sale, understanding the buyer, writing your pitch. We're going to go through some do's and don'ts, managing some connections. And our goal is to be able to help you take this information and not only apply it at the expo, but any networking event in your future, any opportunity that you have to be in front of somebody or some other meetings. This is going to be valuable for you to take further than just at the expo. And at the end, we have a special gift for one lucky winner and a gift for each of you as well. Now, as Esther shared in the introduction, I'm Jennifer Underwood, and with me today is Carolina Gomez. We are your co-hosts for today's workshop. But before we dive in, I want to invite Carolina to share a little bit about herself, her work as a food business owner and consultant, and why she loves to do what she does. I'll stop my share so I can see Carolina. So Carolina, take it away.
Thank you, Jennifer. Hi, everybody. It's nice to meet you. I don't know many of you, which is always fun. I always like to have new businesses that I get to connect with because it is my passion. A little bit about me is that I started Strastic and Brick Delicatessen when I was 20 years old. So I was very young, fresh out of college, and I was experienced because I worked a lot in my early years, but there always was a need for finding out some information. I needed help. I needed mentors. And so I was very good at identifying that I didn't know what I didn't know, which I think that is a very important part of being an entrepreneur, is understanding that no matter what, there's always something that you can learn. And I was lucky to be able to tap into my university professors who supported me along the way, and I still do. There's always something. The really fun part of the food industry is that you never know everything because there's constant innovation. I don't even know if there's any limits to the possibilities in the food industry. One of my mentors was Irina Chalmers, and she wrote a book called 101 Food Jobs. She wrote it twice, so she really wrote 202 food jobs. And she was a fantastic woman, but really what I learned the most about her is that no matter what your passion is, you can find something that has to do with food within that realm. So that really created a huge fascination for me. My focus became supporting the entrepreneur because deli business is a tough business, especially at the age where I started it and in DC. And it was very fulfilling to be able to network with other business owners. But then I understood that we need to support each other. And that's what inspired Food Biz Mentor, which is now my business that I do full time. And I've been growing it for about 6 years. And the mission of Food Biz Mentor is to help the business owner who doesn't quite have the industry experience to really understand the nuances behind food operations, and to help the chef who might not understand the food, the nuances behind administration and the admin side, or all of those technicalities that have to do with owning your business, because food production in a food business ends up being about 2% of what you spend your time doing as a food business owner. So today we're going to go over a few things that I've learned along the way, and it's nice to meet you all.
Now Zoom shows me when I'm on mute. So I'll just tell you this: you all are in for a treat here, learning from Carolina today. I'll share a brief story of how Carolina and I know each other, actually, and then I'll go into a little bit of my background in food. So about 7 years ago, and this ties into why I do what I do now. I was leading the microenterprise training program at Crossroads Community Food Network. Some of you here, I know, Angelica, you went through our program at the Crossroads. And I invited Carolina in to teach a workshop in Spanish. And I didn't know Carolina, I hadn't met her. Had just been introduced that she was an expert. She knew what she was talking about. I said, I need somebody, come in. And as I was watching her present, I noticed her really connecting with the group, really getting to read the room per se, and adjusting her teaching style to the audience. And I kept thinking there's something about her, but I couldn't figure out what that about her was. So I invited her to meet up a few days later at a place in Tacoma Park. It was a cheesecake business that the two sisters had. And as we're talking and connecting and sharing stories, I happened to mention, Lehman, which is my maiden name. So she's like, wait, you're Jennifer Lehman? I said, yes. She goes, you were my 5th grade homeroom teacher at Annunciation. And I'm like, hold on a second. And ever since, we've just been having the great opportunity to work together. I've seen her grow her business and just present. So it is an honor to actually be presenting here together with Carolina. And actually now Carolina will be leading some of the Crossroads microenterprise training programs there as well. So for me, it's just a thrill. The way I got into food, though, was that I loved entertaining, and somebody tricked me into taking culinary arts program. Somebody else then tricked me into working for Rituals Catering Company. And the reason I use the word trick is because it is hard work. It is definitely hard work, but I loved it. It was my passion, working, all those hours. But what I really learned more than just the business strategy, and what really gets to my heart, is the whole person behind that business. Each of you here today are human beings living a human life. You might be a parent, you might not. You might have an elderly parent, you might not. You have all these other things, but there's one reason that you wake up each day and you show up for yourself, and you show up for your business, and you show up for your customers. And that's what I love to do. I love to support the whole person. And that's why I became a life coach, still with a focus a lot on food business owners. So that's a little bit about me. And let's see, now I'm going to go ahead and go into I'm going to share our presentation again. And just to help us get grounded here for a little bit, just indulge me in the next section. Oh, well, there it is. That's us. Fantastic. What I would love for each of you to do right now, and just take a moment, is to um, bring to mind something that you're grateful for and something that you are proud of. But before I share that, let me give you some background on why we practice generating state. And this is a practice that I invite you to bring into your life on a daily basis if this speaks to you. We use the template of gratitude to practice generating a vision-driven vibrational state by naming one thing that we're grateful for. And to that, we add a proud of. The proud of has two purposes. First, it expands and turns up that volume on the vibrational of gratitude, and it amplifies that. And the other purpose is that it acknowledges the part of us that is in human form, that is actually taking the action step. You took the action step today to click on the link, to register, and to show up, right? So that's the power that you have in you. You had that invitation and you showed up, because it is not a given that we're going to actually take action. We have the gift of free will, which means we get to discern and to decide what we'll actually do with our time here. By giving ourselves a command and causing ourselves to follow through on that command, we're exercising the mental faculty of our will. This is a skill set that we learn and practice more and more. So we want to acknowledge that and be proud of that. So the first and most important step in shifting our energy is, of course, to change our breathing pattern. If you've noticed, I've already asked you to take a couple of deep breaths since we got started today. So I'm going to invite you again to take 2 deep breaths together. And exhaling slowly through the mouth. One more time. And exhaling. So the inhalation fully through the nose indicates safety to my nervous system. It allows me to breathe myself into the present moment, and exhaling slowly through my mouth. And I'm doing that several times. So now think of thoughts that in your bones you're grateful for. And think of something that you're truly proud of. And just take a moment to think of that for yourself. And I invite you to share them in the comments. And as you share in the comments, I'm going to model one myself. I want you to start the phrase, I am so happy and grateful for, and I am proud of. So just take a moment and center yourself in gratitude. Okay. If you would like to please share some of those gratitudes and proud of in the comments, it's an invitation if you feel called to.
Yeah, Jennifer, Esther, I know you can't, I want to just read a little bit of the chat. Esther says that she says, I am so happy and grateful for my health and my family, which is nice. That's very true. Family is later. And Masa says, I am so happy and grateful for my helpful staff who allow me to take time away from my business to learn and grow with opportunities like this. That is a big one. That's very true. Your team is everything. And then Lauren says, I am so happy and grateful for nature being nature, doing all the things, following all the cycles that the natural world does. Wow, that's very true. And Michelle, I love these. And Michelle says, I am happy and grateful that I get to work every day for an environmentally impactful company. My work and effort makes a positive impact on our community. That's amazing. I'm very big into that. I love, that's really important to me, actually. And then looks like Pene says, I am so grateful for having the opportunity to be here with today with your, I am so grateful for having the opportunity to be here today with you wonderful ladies. I am very proud of my children. Oh, that's beautiful.
Beautiful. So thank you, Carolina, for reading those out loud, and thank you everyone for sharing those gratitudes I'm proud of. So now from this state, I wanted to ask, before we get started into our presentation, does anybody have any questions? Anything that you really would love to get out of today's time together? Go ahead and you can unmute yourself or raise your hand, whichever way you want. We want this to be a dialogue and a conversation. So does anybody have any questions or anything you would like to share or ask? My teacher skills are gonna have to come back. I'm gonna have to start calling out on people.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Yusuf.
How you doing? This is my first time in the group, and I actually had some difficulty getting in, so I missed the whole first part of the presentation. And I'm new to this because I'm in this industry now. I'm a clinical exercise physiologist, but my youngest daughter wanted to start a natural food cookie business after the pandemic, and I obliged her. Started doing it to help her, and I enjoyed the industry. So I'm pivoting now to help her and make it a real business. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can and see how I can develop a good product that's actually healthy, because I had this epiphany moment, or this moment where I said, wait a minute, you're an exercise physiologist and you're selling cookies, so you have to make a health cookie. You have to do that too. So I just wanted to introduce myself and sort of just get an idea of what the work group is working on, and see how I can contribute from a different perspective too as well.
Welcome, Yusuf, and way to go. I mean, first time with the group, you're brave, and it's a beautiful story that how you're showing up for your daughter and supporting her in this and making this a family business. So welcome. Thank you for being here. I know you mentioned that you missed the first part. This presentation is being recorded, and so I know that the Food Council is going to be sharing this possibly. I don't know. I'm guessing yes. I see some nods. Yes. So you'll be able to catch up with the first parts of the presentation. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
And Jennifer, I just wanted to add one more comment from Jody here that I thought was really important. It says, I'm so grateful for the health of my family today and proud that we, Santa Lucia, survived the challenging years of COVID, which is a huge thing to be grateful for. So I just really wanted to put that in there, because COVID inspired a lot of businesses, but then it also, was such a challenge and continues to be for businesses. So that's going to be, that's really important. So thank you, Jody, for sharing that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Carolina. Any other questions or heart flares that you want to share? And there'll be other opportunities to share later on. Okay. With that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go into what I call the power of vision. So Yusuf, this is going to be something that, as I'm glad that you shared, because this definitely comes to mind. You're in the perfect opportunity. We all are in the perfect timing of going in and looking at, basically looking at our lives and how they relate to our business, but really thinking about our lives first, right? How do we design a life that then our business fits into it? So welcome to this section, the Power of Vision section for today's presentation. And I'm going to start with a short story. So there was a mother mouse was leading her 3 little children through a house. And all of a sudden, as they're turning by a corner, the mice see a cat. The cat looks at the mice with hunger in his eyes and slowly starts walking toward the mice, revealing its sharp teeth. The mother mouse, in an effort to protect her children, backs up, raises up on her hind legs, and then says in a louder voice as she can, ruff, ruff, ruff. The cat gets scared and runs off. The mother turns to her little babies and says this, now children, never underestimate the power of learning more than one language. I share this story to make a point, and that is, we can all learn more than one language. And today we're going to be exploring the language of success. This is a language for creating the results you want. And once we consciously understand this language, we can apply it to any area of our life that we want to improve. Now, this system of success we will be exploring today has been developed over the past 40 years and has been used by tens of thousands of people around the world to create lives they love living. It's a proven, reliable, repeatable system for helping you create what matters most to you. So my intention today is to share with you some powerful tools to improve your results in your life. By the time you leave here today, you will be empowered with 3 tools to help you achieve your goals, greater clarity on your goals and dreams, feel even more confident in your ability to achieve those goals and dreams. Are you up for that? Raise your hand if yes. Awesome. I'm grateful you're all here today. Now, what I have learned during the many opportunities I have had to speak before different groups and organizations is that our goals and our dreams are often born out of the challenges we face or the pain we experience. We see the life in this universe speaks to us through 2 signals of growth. One of them is our longing, and the other one is our discontent. We experience this feeling of longing when we're desiring something we haven't yet created. Similar to what Yusuf just shared with his daughter, there's a longing to create something, right? But it's not created yet. And we may be feeling the discontent of some current circumstances, something that we just are not, we prefer not to have to deal with. So both of these, the longing and the discontent, those are the catalysts for growth within us. And they're both required. We don't do one without the other. These are 2 that are very important to experience in our lives. So whether it's the pain of a problem or a burning desire for something new, these 2 energies are essential for creating new results in our lives. Let me share a time in my life when longing and discontent inspired me to make a change. So it's about 6 years ago. Now my daughter is about to turn 6. So this was a pivotal time in my life. Everything that I wanted had come together. I had just gotten married. I was starting a new family. I had just started my job at Crossroads, like it was my dream job. And I decided to get my master's degree at the same time. So I would work full time in the morning, all day, then go to school at night, then do that 2 a.m., 3 a.m. wake up, like, I got to get this paper done. I've got to do my homework. And through those 2 years, there was definitely some struggle. There were some things of like, why am I spending all this energy in this? What is it in me that I want so badly? And there were some really challenging times, almost like what they say, the night of the dark soul, the dark nights of the soul. And I had a hard time. And it's at the time when my boss, Christy, introduced me to life coaching. I went to a few seminars, some workshops, some retreats, and that's where I found the power of transformation, the power that I get the choice to decide what I want my life to look like. And so now I've transitioned into getting certified as a life coach, and I'm able to blend both passions, my passion for food, my passion for supporting entrepreneurs, and my passion for personal development. And that's why now I have my life coaching business, again, focused quite often. One of the sections that I focus on is in food entrepreneurs, and the other one is in educators and teachers. So those are my 2 passions coming together as a life coach. But if I hadn't felt that hard challenge, I would not have given myself the opportunity to create something that I now truly love. So today I will share with you some principles that will help you transform your longing and your discontent into new results that you would like. The principles I'll be teaching come from a program that I'm certified to teach. It's called the Dream Builder Program. And in this program, there are 10 principles that can skyrocket your success if you apply them to your life. Today, in the time that we have, I'm going to cover 3 of these principles that you can apply right now to help you create a life you absolutely love. These 3 key principles, let me see here. Okay. These 3 key principles are the keys to mastering your results. Now, here's my promise to you. I promise that I'm going to give you everything I can in the time we have together. And at the end of this presentation, many of you will want to take this information further and integrate it into your life. So for you, I have a special gift that you're going to love that we'll give you at the end of the presentation. So let's get started. There are 4 domains in which we create results in our lives, and they are health and well-being, love and relationships, vocation, and time and money freedom. You're having results in each of these areas right now. Some results you may love and other results not so much. Here's the good news. No matter what the results, no matter how big the challenge it might feel like to you, no matter how long an old result has been in place, you absolutely have the power to create the exact results you would love to have in your life. The results you're getting in these areas of life are a perfect reflection of your awareness in these areas. So let's expand our awareness together by studying the pattern that creates a result, is what I call the results formula. The formula begins like this. Thoughts cause feelings. Your thoughts cause your feelings. And you know this, when you think joyful thoughts, you feel happy. When you think scary thoughts, your heart beats faster. So your thoughts affect your physiology. And by universal law, your feelings are expressed in your actions. When we feel confident, we feel energized, we take different actions that when we feel down, frustrated, or sad. And we know that our actions contribute to our results. It's simply the law of cause and effect. So follow me here. Your thoughts cause your feelings cause your actions, and your actions cause your results. And so if you want to know what you've been thinking of, look at your results, because your results never lie. Now, if you want to create new results in your life, then we pay attention to our thoughts. And that is something that we call notice what you're noticing. So here in a moment, I'm going to invite you to go through an exercise with me. So go ahead and get your pen and your paper ready and be ready to do some reflection and do an exercise here together. It is what we call notice what you're noticing. In the same way that you can notice that you can feel your feet on the floor and that you notice how your pen feels in your hand, you can also notice how your thinking affects how you're feeling. So let's apply these concepts of the results formula and notice what you're noticing to your life. Get your pen and pencil ready, like I just reminded you, and let's go ahead and do a quick life assessment. I'm inviting you to notice your current results in each area of your life, and on a scale of 1 to 5, how fulfilled you are feeling with these results. 1 being not fulfilled at all, and 5 being completely fulfilled. So let's begin with your health and well-being. Write down on a scale of 1 to 5 how fulfilled your current health results. On a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being not fulfilled at all, and 5 being completely fulfilled. Love and relationships. Now let's consider the results in your love and relationship domain. On a scale of 1 to 5, how fulfilled are you with your current relationship? Now let's consider the results in your vocation domain, which is your creative expression, your career, your business, or how you share your gifts with this world. On a scale of 1 to 5, how fulfilled are you in your vocational results? And finally, let's consider the results in your time and money freedom domain. On a scale of 1 to 5, how fulfilled are you with your current time and money freedom? So now let's take a moment and reflect on your life assessment. As we considered each domain of your life and you look at your current results, you gave yourself a rating from 1 to 5 for each of these areas. What is it costing you for your results to remain the same? Pay attention to your thoughts around those results. Some of you may have put 3 for health and well-being. Some of you may have put 1 for love and relationships. Some of you may put 5 for your vocation. Whatever that is, this is not a time for judgment or for blame. Your responses are not good or bad, right or wrong. You're simply paying attention to and noticing what you would love more of and less of in your life. So whatever your results have been up until now, you have the power within you from this moment forward to create the results you love. And it all starts right here with your thoughts. Every one of us has a dream inside of us somewhere. This brings us now to the first key to mastering your results. There's also the number 1 secret of dream building. It's designing your dream. When you would love different results in your life, you plan for them, just like you have a clear blueprint. When you want to build a house, the same is true with your dream. Without a clear defined blueprint, you cannot build your dream. Write this down. Clarity is power. When you become clear on what it is you really want in life, you begin to see opportunities and resources that you may otherwise have entirely missed. Things seem to appear out of the blue. So let's design the blueprint for your dream and let's make it crystal clear. So let me ask you, what would you love? Ask yourself right now and write it down. Just write down what comes to your mind. If anything were possible, what would you love? So imagine that you stepped into a time machine, what you would love your life to be like 3 years from now. 3 years from now, everything you wanted completely worked out. You have a vibrant health, wonderful relationships with family and friends. You love your work. You have all the time and money and resources required. What does this life you love look like for you? So on your sheet of paper, we're going to take 30 seconds and to capture some of these ideas that came to you. For some of you, it might be travel. For some of you, it might be, finding the love of your life. For some of you, it might be, moving to a new location. Whatever that is for you, just give yourself this next 30 seconds and just write some of these down as they come without editing. Just start your notes with the statement, I'm so happy and grateful now that. Okay, and to be continued. Now take a deep breath with me. Congratulations. This is the first key to mastering your results. Knowing what it is that you would love and describing it is a first step in bringing those results to life. And this brings us to our second key for mastering your results. And that is deciding for your dream. Just like we experience results throughout our day, we also make decisions each moment of the day. In fact, it's been proven that highly successful people are willing to decide for that what they would love, even in the absence of knowing how to bring it about. Some people may want to know every step of the way before deciding. The key is that you make a firm decision for what you want before you will bring your dream into reality. That means you get to decide for new results. With your life assessment, you now recognize your current results, where you are right now. Okay, then after journaling what you would love in your life, you now recognize your dreams, where you want to go, right? Okay, great. What happens in the middle between the results you have now and the results you want? Any idea how you're going to bring that dream about? Exactly. We want to suspend the how. That is, we're going to refuse to let the unknown stop us from making a decision to move forward towards our dreams. Are you willing to decide to do whatever it takes to experience those results you'd love? Raise your hand if yes. Great. Congratulations. That's the second key for mastering your results. That brings us to our third key to mastering your results in your life, and that is befriending your fear. What does that even mean? Making friends with fear? Yes, it means you can have fear, but you don't let fear have you. When we decide for a dream, like all have done here today, there's a part of you that says, heck yeah, I'm doing this. And then there's another part of us that says, yeah, right, that's not going to happen. What if I fail? That is the voice of fear. It is the part of us that wants to keep life a status quo. Now think about this. When we were babies, we all started out as non-walkers. As a non-walker, you saw people around you walking and you wanted that level of freedom for yourself. So you rose up, you locked your eyes on that toy or that cookie that you wanted, you gave it your best shot and you took some steps. And what happened? You fell down. But what did you do next? You rose up and tried again and took another step and you fell down. When we were learning to walk, did you ever think to yourself, well, that's it. I guess I'm just not meant to be a walker. No, of course not. You rose up and kept going. With each try, you took a step and a few more steps until finally you became a walker. Something happens when we become adults, though. We stop giving ourselves permission to fall down. We learn to walk by falling down. The truth is, it is falling down and getting back up again that is actually the key to achieving your dreams. We befriend our fear and give ourselves the permission to fail enough to succeed. Great dream builders are willing to fail and rise again. Oprah Winfrey was fired by television executives, told that she was not fit for TV. Now she has her own multi-billion-dollar network. Steven Spielberg was rejected from USC Film School 3 times, but he rose up and kept going. We can all probably name his blockbuster movies, and his net worth is estimated to be more than $3 billion. The founder of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, was told there was no market for his kind of coffee. His loan application was rejected 242 times. Now there are nearly 30,000 Starbucks around the world, and the company has a net worth of more than $22 billion. Great success stories also have experienced great failure. In fact, fear and failure are prerequisites for achieving great dreams. So how do we give power to the part of us that wants to move forward? When we're hearing that voice and that part of us that wants to play small, there's a whole process to this that I take my clients through in the Dream Builder program. But for our purposes today, I'm going to give you one thing you can do. Refocus your mind on your dream and then take an action step. Just thinking about your vision, your dream, and even writing it down is not going to make it happen just poof, like magic. You want to do your part, even if that means doing it afraid. Are you willing to befriend your fear and take action anyway to live a life you love? Raise your hand if yes. Wonderful. Okay, as I promised you at the beginning of our time together, I have a gift for you, and then I'll close with the story to wrap up this training. Now, this gift is for anybody here on our call today, whether you're a producer, whether you're one of the buyers, whether you're one of the staff at the Montgomery County, and I'm going to take a short pause. Sí, Isabela. Sí, mi amor, hay uvas en la refri, ¿ok? Y puede agarrar un pedacito de chocolate. Gracias. En la refrigeradora. Yes, I bribe my child with TV, grapes, and chocolate when I'm doing a presentation. So how do we give power to the part of us that wants to move forward when we hear that voice that wants to play small? So here we go. As I promised to you at the beginning, I had a gift for you. But first, let's recap what we've gone through together. Designing your dream, deciding for your dream, befriending your fear. Above all, remember this: you are worthy of your dream and a life you love living. Now, let me ask you this. Raise your hand if you feel like you've connected with these ideas and know that if you really implemented them, they would make a difference in your life. Awesome. I can't really see you, but I'm guessing that some of you are raising your hands, if not 100% of the room. So I'm going to close with a story, but first, let me give you a gift. As I promised at the beginning of this presentation, I have a special gift for those of you who are ready to take action on your dream. Between my speaking and coaching engagements, I carve out some time each week for strategy sessions. A strategy session is a 30-minute phone or Zoom conversation where we get clear exactly of where you are, what you would love to create, and the most important step you can take that will move you in the direction of your dream. Now, this is a one-on-one session that is valued at $250. Some of you in this room know that you're ready to invest in achieving your dream. So for you, here's your next step. Some one-on-one time together with me over the phone or over a Zoom call where we invest in you, in your dream, and to discover the path on how you can get there. I'm offering you a strategy session completely complimentary at no charge. It's my gift to you. How many of you are serious about achieving your dream and would like a strategy session? Please raise your hand. Great. So I have 5 strategy sessions available, again, with a value of $250. I'm going to post a link here in the comments, and it's going to send you to a form. Fill out the form. Later today, you will get a message with a link to be able to schedule time on my calendar. And if by the time you click on the link to schedule time on my calendar, if there are no more sessions, because it's going to be first come, first serve, fill out the form anyway. And if time becomes available, I will definitely do the best to be able to offer you a strategy session as well, beyond the 5 that I'm making some time for this week. So make sure to do that as soon as you get the link this afternoon, because the sessions will fill up and they will fill up fast. And I look forward to serving you on those complimentary strategy sessions. So I'll close with this story. It's a true story about William H. Murray. William H. Murray is known as one of the top 5 mountain climbers of all time. But he didn't start out that way. In fact, he almost let the opportunity of greatness slip him by. A man named Edmund Hillary was putting together a team to summit Mount Everest, something that had not yet ever been done. Hillary invited Murray to join the team, and Murray asked, "How much is it going to cost?" And since he thought it was too much, he declined the invitation. He did the same thing a few years later, letting the cost of the expedition stop him from going. When Hillary asked Murray a third time, Murray asked a different question, you see. What's the deposit? Even though he had no idea where the rest of the money to finance the trip, he took action to get started, and the rest showed up out of the blue. Murray discovered a southern route that allowed the team to summit Mount Everest. You have a Mount Everest level dream, and perhaps there's no clear path at this point, but that doesn't mean a path doesn't exist for you. It just means that you're still growing your awareness to be able to see the things you can do to generate the results you want. And I'm honored to be able to support you in learning the keys to master those results. I'm going to close this part of the workshop with a famous quote from Murray's book. He says, "Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness concerning all acts of initiative and creation. There's one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, namely, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issue from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no one could have ever dreamt would have come their way." And finally, I learned a deep respect for one of Goth's couplets. Whether you can do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Each of you have a splendid dream. You wrote it down. You can feel it. You made a decision for it. And to achieve your dream, you get to decide for it again and again, no matter the circumstances, no matter the fear, no matter the failure. So for those of you who are willing to commit to your dream, and for those who would love support in achieving your dream, if you would love a coach to help you summit your Mount Everest, fill out the form and then book some time for that free strategy session. Remember, as you walk out of the Zoom doors into your life, know that what is inside you is far greater than any challenge you're facing. You have incredible power within you. This is your moment. Today is your day to take bold action, because as God says, whatever you can do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. That was very important. A lot of you, I can't see a lot of you, but I see some of you. And sometimes I think about all of those principles that you were just speaking about and how important it is in the food industry. Maybe like last week, actually, I didn't have a slogan or a catchphrase, and Jennifer asked me, what's your slogan? And I said, I don't know, because I'm not that type of person to come up with a slogan. I look at what I do as a chef, and slogans for me were more associated with maybe fast food restaurants or something like to brand a product. And I didn't look at myself as that or my business as a product as much as a service that it just kind of comes out of me naturally, that I'm really happy to do. And she said, well, Carolina, there's one thing that you always ask all of your clients in the beginning of every single time you meet them. Because she's met with me a lot with different food businesses. And she said, the question that you always ask them is, tell me what kind of life you want to live. And it is true. And the reason I ask that question every time is because your business plan needs to reflect the type of life you want to live as an entrepreneur. If you don't build your business to reflect what you want to live as an entrepreneur, you're going to get disinterested, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to probably quit or revamp because your business doesn't reflect that life. And I like to kind of refer back to Strauss and Brick Delicatessen, because I had a beautiful business that was making great revenue and it was very successful. But I was in a difficult life situation. I was in a bad marriage. I was in a, working around the clock type situation. And I knew that in order to scale, I needed to work harder at building a facility, a manufacturing facility. And the problem was my life circumstances just didn't lend themselves for that. So I revamped my career in order to reflect the life I wanted to live. So why is this important? Why are we talking about this for expos? Why does, but I like to ask everybody. I was going to do kind of an energizing exercise. Hopefully, let's do just like shake a little bit to energize, because that's all the exercise I'm going to do right now, because I want to really speak. Thank you. I really want to speak on what we're doing at the expo and why we're talking about these different concepts. So when you're working in expo, it's a really, really big opportunity generator, right? You're going in there to seize a sale, to seize the opportunity. So you really have to be clear about where you're going as a chef or as a CEO or as the leader of your food company. You have to know where you're going and where you want to increase sales. Why? Because that's what you're going to go do, is expand your sales. So if you don't expand in something that is healthy for you, healthy for your business, you might put yourself in a difficult predicament, because you really want to be able to sell something that is something that for your business, it's healthy, you're increasing revenue, but then you're also able to manage operations and what goes along with growing a business. So that's why all of these different concepts are very important. I will say that one of the biggest challenges in the food industry, as a food industry or as a food business leader, when you're a chef or when you're an operations manager, is stress. Stress is the biggest hindrance for growing your business. I'm sure, how many people here have worked all-nighters? How many people have, actually, I'd like to know, if you raise your hand, how many of you have worked all-nighters? Yep. Yeah, all the time. And how many people sometimes feel like they have everything on their shoulders, especially when it comes to providing for your employees. A lot of us, you have the best intentions for your team and leading your company to growth, but you still have a lot of factors that are a little bit difficult to control. And so when you're looking at scaling, when you're looking at selling at something like an expo, you really need to be clear about what is it that I want to grow, and how am I going to grow it? So the first thing we're going to talk about is capturing the sale. So as a salesperson, because you as a business owner are the salesperson as a whole for your business, you're selling the excitement and the vision to your employees, because they're going along with you, hopefully, and you need to be able to have their buy-in to support what you're doing, what's your company mission. But then also you're selling it to whoever's approaching you. So one very important thing that I want to talk about in Expo, which I'm sure you know, but it's one of those things that I like to point out anyway, because I don't see it done as often as you might think, is engage your customers to your table. What does this mean? I see a lot of people, a lot of times in expos, sit at the table and wait for customers to come to the stand. They set up the stand and they sit there and wait. And that's a big mistake. And that's something that doesn't create engagement. So something that I like to tell everybody is make your stand fun, make it somewhere that someone wants to go. So is that maybe offering samples, maybe it's, having some lights or something fun, incorporate something fun. The best type of expo stands that I've seen are where they have games. or something to bring people in where they could earn a prize. And that prize that you give out could have your company information, all of your contact information, and something to promote your brand and to push your brand. And hopefully they can take it home. And every time they see a pen with your logo on it, they can remember you and they can think about you when you know they're not at the expo. And so next time they need something like waffles or bread or you know, whatever, it's your job to create in them that reminder and that need. So for the table, and if you're selling at an expo, you definitely want to make sure that you lure your buyer to the table. That's very important because people will be walking back and forth. And if you're not exciting to look at, they most likely won't stop. So my way of doing it, because I used to sell smoked sausages, was grilling some sausages at my stand so they could smell the smell, because that always brings people over, offering samples, and then just making sure that you have something lively. I'm a big fan of balloons and lights and flowers and all those things, but you know, different people have different visions for how they want to reflect their business. But maybe it's the South American in me that just loves it to look like a party all the time. And then when someone comes and approaches you at the stand, you want to be able to relate your product to their lives. So if there's somebody that has a kid and you're selling waffles, for example, or waffle batter, say, you know, talk about brunch on Sunday and how it's an excellent family, you know, breakfast, and that it's so convenient for you because you already have it made. So you really want to relate your product to their lives. And I'm sure that whenever you speak to somebody about your product, you kind of already have that in mind. But I like to say this as an exercise because every time, actually, because a big part of what Jennifer was talking about before was a little bit of exercising your intuition and being very aware of who you're speaking to and where you're going. So when you're selling to a customer, you want to be able to try your best. It's a developed skill, but in the conversation, identify where your product fits in their lives. That is a key part to selling. They're not probably going to buy something without that. And a little bit later in a few slides, we're going to talk about retailers, brokers, and wholesalers and how your product might relate to them and why they need it. But in general, for all types of your customers, or for all types of customer needs, you always want to make sure that you're filling something that they need, or create a need within them. They might not have thought of your product before, but because your product is unique, you have to find that special place. And then for making a relevant connection, just having to do with that. Those 3 points kind of come all in tandem. So I just kind of spoke about how you make a relevant connection is really through conversation. And that conversation has to be short, concise, and very, very quick. And then you give something or take their information. Recording information, keeping a customer database is one of probably the most important thing in growing your customer base. It really is. So just make sure that you make those connections when they do come to your stand. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is customer testimonials. I know I put a few of my own testimonials on this slide because they're my testimonials and I like to put them on there, but I put two different types. I put the type for counseling, and then I put the type for food business. And the reason that I put these two different types is because they're two different businesses, but really reviews are important no matter what business you have. So if you can incorporate a testimonial in your stand or in some sort of materials at the expo, do it, because it's important to show as a business that you have some sort of track record. Because you're because you're relatively new, you really need to kind of show your receipts. You have to show what it is that you have done, how it's impacted others. And those will be really important tools to be able to show that sort of, I would say it shows proof of concept almost in a way. It shows reliability. It shows strength in whatever character of either the brand or even the business owner. So it just strengthens relationships. I don't know if you wanted to say anything about testimonials, Jennifer, or if you'd like me to move forward. Oh, you're muted, sorry.
Thank you. The only thing I wanted to add here, and this is fantastic, Carolina, I can actually like picture ourselves at the expo already. So thank you for all the descriptions. I just wanted to make sure to remind everybody that at the end of today's presentations, we'll be sending out an email and you will be getting some of these resources. You'll have access to the presentation, list of the buyers that are already going to be there, some sample sell sheets, some price sheets, like a lot of the things that Carolina is going to be talking about. You'll each get a list of some of those resources so you can do some of your homework from now until the time of the presentation of the expo itself. Just wanted to make sure to let you know that we're going to be sharing some of those resources with you.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right, so now the next slide that we're going to talk about is, oh, this is the most important slide in my opinion for the technicalities of what we're here to talk about today, is who are you selling to? Who's going to the expo and how do you approach them? So you have to understand that each different type of consumer, customer has a different goal in mind. The retailer, the broker, the wholesaler, and the average, person, I call them, a civilian, not a broker or a retailer. There are different ways to approach each one. And like I was talking about before, it's important to identify the need. So the first thing that you really are going to think about is, what are their needs? So I'm going to kind of go over them. So for retail, if you have a retail store, which I had with my deli, I actually sold a lot of retail. And then also through Gourmet Kitchen, I dealt with a lot of retail places. And when you're dealing with a retailer, you want to make sure that you have the right marketing materials for your product that they expect. So what does a retailer expect? A retailer expects some sort of price list already put together. You want to make sure that you already have a list of what you sell, what does it cost, how much would you recommend they sell it for, and why should they have it in their business? Why is it unique? So that's incredibly important. And there's a pretty simple way of doing this, which is typically if you have a pamphlet, and then you just have a list of what you can sell. And you want to make sure that in that list, you don't put all of the things that you offer, because chances are you can't scale the same way on everything. So typically what I do with retailers is I think to myself, what do I want to scale on? Which product do I want to sell more of my menu mix is what I call it. Or well, it's called a menu mix. You have a menu mix, which is all of the products on your menu. And you have certain categories of items in your menu mix. And typically I like to scale on my stars. So a star is something that has a higher profit margin and people want it. It's something that shows, I guess, consistency and in increasing sales. So when I'm making these different lists, I make sure that I do something that I want to scale on. Why? Because if I scale on something that's too labor intensive, or if I scale on something that's too expensive for my business, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot. That's why it's so important to know where you're going. That's why it's so important to write a business plan and understand your vision and to have a financial forecast. So if you could, on the chat, while I'm speaking, I'm going to continue speaking, write what product you want to scale on or products, and write it in the chat so I can kind of refer back to it a little bit later. All right, so I just spoke about retail, and retail, you want to make sure that you have a list of products that you give the customer a list of, this is what it's going to cost you. This is what I would recommend you sell it for. Now for the broker is a negotiator. The broker is going to go in and look to see where you are, I guess what type of product you offer. And for those, I kind of like to have more of a catalog of most of my products listed. So I have like a catalog. This is everything we offer that we would like to scale on. And this is how we sell it. So you always want to have probably in the back of your pamphlets, or even just like a printout. If you don't have time because it's on Thursday, just do a printout sheet. Just have some sheets and say, okay, this is usually what we offer. This is how you can reach us. This is the type of product that we have. So feel free to contact me and I'll send you the full price list, or I'll send you the full, or I'll send you some samples. But try to make sure that you're being very clear about what you offer, how they can contact you, and take down their information. Like, please, as much as you can, take down their information, because you're going to be able to incorporate that into your CRM and do follow-ups and do, emails and really continue on that relationship. Oh, I love cheeses and meats. Good. That's a good one. I'm just kind of reading the comments as they pop up. So wholesalers, when you're dealing with wholesalers, what do they look for? They look for scalability. That's the first thing they look for. That's it. They're not even looking at the quality of your product at first glance. They're thinking, if I order this much, will they be able to fill the order? So wholesalers are going to be, that's the first filter. Then it's quality. So a lot of retailers, first it's quality, then it's scalability. A retailer might not mind that you sold out of something, but the wholesaler will surely mind, and they probably won't increase your opportunities unless you're ready. So if you are ready, if you're ready to scale, if you have everything in place, approach the wholesaler. If you're not, and this is just a recommendation from experience, wait, take their information, keep a relationship going. And then once you're like ready to scale, then make sure that you're contacting them and developing that relationship even further. But don't waste their time. Don't go and talk to them about your product if you can't scale, so that they have that negative thought about your business. So that's a very important thing that I say in like the nicest of ways and with the best energy possible. I believe in you. I believe that you can grow. But if you're not ready, be honest and say, I'm growing to this phase. I'm going to need this much capital investment to be able to grow to there. So let's work on that, but still develop a relationship with the wholesalers so that you don't lose out on the opportunity. But don't go saying that you can have, 300,000 units and sell them every month if you can't, because then you're just going to lose the connection. And the most important part of selling is strengthening your connections. Your reputation is everything, which I'm sure you already know. So if you have consistency and character, you're being honest, you're being professional, and you're showing that you constantly have a high quality product, everybody, we're all humans too. So we understand your business might not be at that level yet. Let's keep that relationship because they're going to get there, right? So these are 3 different levels of relationships that you're probably going to have. I'm not completely sure where you are in your business. If you would like some more analysis or some help moving forward, feel free to, again, reach out to me or Jennifer. and I'll put my email in the chat so you can reach out to me. But we have some amazing businesses here. We have salad mixes. We have cheese, meats, lemon cookies. I mean, that's amazing. And can you elaborate on who the brokers would be? A broker is a broker. It's an individual that's going to go and sell your product to different outlets. So who is it going to be? I don't know. It might be, I mean, it's really just, it's an agent. It's a person that's going and going to try to push it to different outlets. So I'm not sure who that person will be at this expo, but it's a customer. And for a broker, if they say, hey, I am the person who goes and looks for different food opportunity or sales opportunities for food businesses, do you have a price list? You can say, I do. I have a price list. I have the contact information. Here you go. Then that's it. And then that's the type of relationship that you want to develop. It's very quick. It's not going to take a long time because this isn't that type of arena. You're not going to want to take 30 minutes to talk about your product. You're going to want to take like 2 max. So because people are walking through and they're kind of in a hurry, which brings us to the pitch. So when you're doing a pitch, you want to make sure that you cover who you are, what you're selling, where can they contact you, how can they find you, and why do they need your product? So we're going to go over that. We're going to do a quick exercise. I'm just going to check the time. So we have a few minutes for this. Jennifer kind of wanted to talk about what the steps are going to be for the breakout rooms. And we're going to ask you to develop a quick pitch. So Jennifer, did you want to introduce the exercise?
Sure. Thank you. So in a moment, like Carolina said, you're all going to be put into pairs. So this is a time to please share your screen and be present for the person who's going to be your partner. We're going to take 5 minutes to do this. You'll each have 1 minute to pitch your product to your partner. Your partner is going to ask you a question, and then you'll be able to just connect and provide some feedback. Right, so you each will take 1 minute to do each one of those. Carolina and I are just going to do a quick demo right here, where Carolina is going to be the first person who's going to be pitching her product to me. Would you like to read it, Carolina?
Sure. And then the pitch that we're using today is one of my, I love this client. She's really wonderful. But it really reads, so she has a spice, and I'm just giving you a little backstory. She has a spice and mambo sauce company. So if somebody was to approach her, she'd say, I'm the Spice is Right. I'm located out of Baltimore, Maryland. We sell mambo sauce. It's traditional DC sauces that are sweet and tangy. You can use it on your chicken, pork, or grilling, or for grilling. Use it for grilling. And you can buy it on our website or on Instagram. Follow us. Here's the QR code. And you have to try this because it's so good and it's grilling season, right? So that was like a quick little way of saying who they are, where you can find them, what they're selling, and why you should buy their product.
And then as a partner with Carolina in the room, I would just kind of help her kind of now take a moment and I would ask her, so Carolina, sounds fantastic, sounds delicious. What is one of those retail stores that you've had your eye on that you would really want to carry your product? And then you'll just have a brief interaction, and then you will switch and take turns. Okay, so the one thing I will tell you right now, that what you don't want to do is going through your full story, talking about all your struggles. This is very clear, concise, and to the point. So I'm going to stop my share now and allow the magic of Esther's going to send folks into pairs. We'll take 5 minutes for this portion.
David and Maya, did you get the invite to join a breakout room?
I see them in room 3 on my my list here. But I don't know if they got the notice.
Huh.
It's assigned to room 3, I should say.
Right. Maybe they stepped away from their screen for now. Okay. I think Carolina and I don't think Lorianne knew to come back. So let me.
Did you want us to pop into the rooms to check in, or just wait here for them to come back?
I think Jennifer, you wanted us to stay here, right, in the main room.
Yes, just to check in and to
Yeah.
see the time. And I don't know if this portion is being recorded and how this will be showing up, but that's perfectly fine. I don't remember the logistics of this. So since we have 10 minutes or 11 minutes left, and this is very important for them to have this connection, network, and do this pitch and have this exercise. When we come back from that, we basically just have managing your connections, which Carolina will go, and she's already touched a little bit about, like, after the expo, what do you do? Like, and at the expo, how do you make sure you gather that information, and how do you follow up afterwards? And then I was going to play a song to get people, but it's probably gonna be a little bit tricky to do that transition.
Yeah.
So after Carolina does that, then it's on to you to do the wheel of names, select the winner, do any announcements, open it up for questions. That's really all that's left to wrap this up. So.
Okay, great. And I have my food council updates written out, so I can just copy and paste that in the link because I don't want to go too much over. Just to, we don't want to keep them too long, but so I can do that at the end after Q&A. I don't know how much time we'll have for that, but we can just open it up, and whoever has to go, they can feel free to go, and we can mention that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Carolina ended up staying in her room, maybe.
Good for her.
Yeah, that's okay. They went into the room at what time? We said 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't set a timer, but they probably
That's
have.
okay.
They probably have a couple more.
Yeah, they went in at 11:19, right?
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and give them a 1-minute warning. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bring everyone back in. Oh, it gives them a 60-second countdown to leave the room. So hopefully, there you go. They must be having really great conversations. They don't want to leave their breakout room.
All right. That was cool. I was still talking a little bit to Tamara, but she came up with, the last question, Tamara, that was a great question. I'm going to share that with the group in just a bit. But
Thank you.
Jennifer, did you want me to talk about a little bit what we just did in the breakout room? Because I had a good experience with Tamara.
Yes, I think it would be great to spend a minute or two covering that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what we were just, Tamara, congratulations. That was an excellent, a really great pitch. She went over all of the different points that I was looking for, but I gave a recommendation that when you're looking to scale on certain products, make sure that you have some tools at your stand to just feature what you want to scale on. Because Tamara, I know you were talking about how the apple waffle is one of the most delicious ones, and you like to show it, but it's not the one you want to scale on. So you're really going to talk about what you want to grow your business with. And then the other question that Tamara asked was, what kind of people will be there? How do you approach or talk to a broker? And I said, the main goal of the pitch is to plant a seed and to develop or start a relationship. So all of those other technicalities that go along with how to place an order and all those things come later. They come at the follow-up when you follow up a little bit later on to say, hey, it was great to see you at the expo. And then they'll probably talk about those things. So it's just a little bit of what I wanted to go over about Tamara, but now did you want them to, or did you want someone to share their pitch, Jennifer? How would you?
If they want to share it in the comments, and then maybe at the end when we kind of do our thank you, maybe if somebody has something that they really want to share, they can share then. So we can go into, if you want to share a little bit about now that they've done the pitch, now they've had this minute or two with at the expo, how do they do what you just shared? How do they manage that? What do they need to capture so that then how they can follow up after the expo?
All right, so managing connections. I kind of went over it before, so I'm not, just for the sake of time, going to get too much into it, but there are very important things that you need to remember. Make sure that you follow up via email or a phone call. So if they're a broker or wholesaler and you get their business card and they get your business card, make sure that you're going back to them, emailing them and saying, hey, it was great to meet you. I would like to share a little bit more information about my product with you, and just continue to generate those connections and keep the relationship going. Even if it's not a relationship for now, doesn't mean it's not a valuable relationship and a connection for later. So just make sure that you're including these people in your MailChimps, in your social media, even like if they're on social media, follow them and then inspire them to follow you so that they get those constant reminders on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter or whatever social media channels you use. Update the mailing list. When I just spoke about that, I like to use CRM systems. I'm not a fan as much of just having everything on a spreadsheet. A CRM system is a customer relationship management system. So there are a few websites that I use to, that I like to use. One very common one is called Salesforce. Another one is called Zoho. If you have questions about this, I'm going to put my email on the chat so you can reach out to me. But we will be teaching these classes just about CRM systems at the Crossroad Micro Enterprise program. That's going to be one class per month for 12 months. So I will include all of your emails in that email blast as well, so you can sign up for that program, because that's a whole can of worms. So I don't have time to talk about it right now, but I can. So just reach out to me. And then network with other vendors. You can support each other too, you know, so if you have other people that you can work with, you know, power comes in numbers. So I like to work with other vendors, see what opportunities we can seize together and how we can support each other. So don't forget that other vendors are also incredibly important contacts, especially for the camaraderie of being a local business owner. When you're involved in your community, you're building a very strong foundation to be able to continue growing your relationships. And at the end of the day, your community is who keeps you going in those tough times. So